Welcome back to Cox Forum. In this segment, we are continuing our look at Measure A, which is coming up on the March 8th ballot for the voters of San Clemente. They'll be deciding what will happen to the Playa del Norte project. And we have with us during this segment Tom Barnes. He is representing the North Beach Green Alternative. Opponents of Measure A, welcome to the program. First of all, why should people vote against Measure A?
Well, Measure A basically is an attempt to sell beach parking. There's a beach parking lot known as the Triangle, and it's been there since 1980. And what the city is trying to do is sell it to a developer to put a commercial building on it. And those of us who oppose the sale of this beach parking lot believe that we should defeat Measure A. You know, no city ever sells beach parking. Cities try to acquire beach parking. And the parking triangle is essential to our beach area there. It links the beach, the trail, the Metrolink, the Ole Hansen Beach Club, center point of the Pacific Coast Bike Route. So there's a lot of good things about this parking triangle. And we don't think that this lab building, the lab development, which should go on public land. If they want to build this lab development and they want to put it on private land, we have no objection to that. They could put it on, there's a number of spots that it could be put, but not on our own beach parking lot, our close-in parking.
Now, the people who are in favor of Measure A say that parking is provided with this project, at least as much parking as is currently available on the Triangle.
Well, the parking they're referring to, because when you take away 107 parking spaces, you can't recreate land. And the land they're recreating is up Pico. And one of the lots that they're talking about replacing the parking is the city yard that they've renamed the Pico lot, and that's a half a mile away. And it's a half a mile. When you're walking back from the beach, you're going to be walking uphill for that half a mile. It's a long ways away. And to label a lot a half a mile away beach parking, I think, is disingenuous.
Now, your website is North Beach
Green Alternative. I know it's a mouthful, but
we've got some pictures on there that you've brought here tonight. We want to take a quick look at those.
Thank you. Yeah, we'd like to
tell us what we're seeing here.
Well, this is what our plan is. What we would like to do is to take 33 of the spaces in the Triangle, 33 out of the 107, and expand the existing green area from the Ole Hansen Beach Club. So we'll have more of a flatter area, and it will become a true park. We're going to call it the Ole Hansen Beach Park. And then we also are going to replace those 33 spaces by building 45 spaces on what are called the ECR lots, or El Camino Real lots, that border El Camino Real and Deseca. So we'll actually have a plus 12 in parking, more parking. We'll have a nice center of a beach park that'll be perfect for a lot of the older folks. It'll be perfect where you'll have a flat area, people can come and throw a frisbee. And then we're also going to have a beach cafe, but this will be very small in scale. It's only going to be maybe 800 to 1,000 feet, and it'll just be something simple, hamburgers, hot dogs, and ice cream, something along those lines. But we think that we have to get this in, because if we don't get this in, this land, the Triangle, will always be prey to some developer that will want to come in and develop it. But we think once we get the city to expand the Ole Hansen Beach Club green area into this area, then it can be saved.
Yeah, of course. As you know, the people who are in favor of A are saying, hey, look, the park looks nice, but there's no money to build this park. There's no plan to build the park. There's nothing official about that.
They've already spent more money on this lab development than what it would have cost to put the sod in. There's plenty of money for the parking, and that would have been the biggest expense for this park, to move the parking to the ECR lots. There's over $9 million in a parking fund. They're going to give $4.6 million of this to the lab. They could give some of this to the Ole Hansen Beach Club Park. That would provide the parking. The actual expense of making the park is minimal.
But just so people are clear, voting no doesn't bring you to the park. It just keeps the development from being built.
My job will begin on basically March 9th, because hopefully if we're victorious on March 8th, then I will try to, and my wife, who's the co-founder of the North Beach Green Alternative, will try to convince the city to go along with the idea of the beach park.
Well, why hasn't, I mean, this, as you mentioned before, this area has been a parking lot since 1980. Miramar Theater closed quite a while ago. Why hasn't this park proposal been brought forward before?
We have brought forward, the park proposal is not mine. It's Ricardo Nickel, a very noted local architect's idea. We run the website, but it's his plan. And we have brought it before the Planning Commission, and Ricardo's brought it before the City Council. they are so enamored with this, basically what they're trying to do with the lab, that they won't even look at it. So we need a no vote on March 8th, and if we get a no vote on March 8th, then we can bring forward our plan and really get some things. We believe that the park will start the revitalization process in North Beach, because there was a lot of misconceptions. A lot of people thought that this lab plan was to revitalize the Miramar. It has nothing to do with the Miramar. The Miramar is 2 blocks away. We think that the lab, if it goes in, it will actually harm the revitalization of the Miramar. The Miramar is owned by someone now who's willing to go through the process to start the revitalization. Former Councilman Wayne Eggleston's going to head a group to try to help to bring this about. So the Miramar is a non-issue. We think if we get the park in, then the Miramar, and then we can work on some of the other areas. When people talk about fixing North Beach, they're not talking about the parking triangle. The parking triangle is fine. It's nice, it's level, it's flat, it's landscaped, it's easy access to the beach. So the fact that there's been such an attack on the parking triangle, when it isn't the problem. When people talk about fixing North Beach, they talk about the Miramar, the lots, things of that nature. So there's vacant lots there, there's used car lots people don't like, some people don't like the 7-Eleven, there's a lot of other things, but it's not the parking triangle.
For people to get more information, again, your website?
northbeachgreenalternative.com.
Okay, thanks so much for being with us, and when we come back, we'll be hearing from the folks who are... And as we continue our look at Measure A, which is coming up on the March 8th ballot for the voters of San Clemente, we welcome to the show Bill Hart. He is with the San Clemente Watershed Task Force and the Coastal Advisory Committee. He is in favor of Measure A. Welcome to the show, and why should people vote yes on Measure A?
Well, thank you, Terry. What it boils down to is how people visualize using North Beach. Are we going to continue to keep it as it is? Kind of empty, a little bit run down, or are we going to start to improve it and make better use of North Beach? And what has been proposed is a very nice development, restaurants, small food shops, a lot of open space, plazas, ocean views, and if that's what the public wants, then that's what's going to be built in North Beach.
You know, what about the opponents rather, are saying that this is almost a gift of public property that's being sold for a fraction of its worth?
Well, that's a little bit misleading. First of all, nobody knows what the sales price is going to be. The sales price is going to be set anywhere from 7 to 12 years out from today. And the reason is that nobody wanted to establish a price for the property until you could establish the rental income and the market conditions at the time. So the way that's going to work is the city will hire an appraiser 3 years after the Playa del Norte has been in operation. And that appraiser will then look at the value, the rents, the profitability, and there's going to be a split for the city and a split for the developer, and that's what's going to determine the price.
So in the meantime, though, the city will retain ownership of the land and the developer will simply be building on it, and then there's going to be some negotiated going on to figure out who's going to eventually...
Specifically, yes. It's a lease option arrangement.
Yeah. One of the other concerns is that this could put the city on the hook for as much as $4.5 million in infrastructure costs.
Well, that's a little bit misleading, but I would encourage people to go to the city's website, and they will find a financial facts report that just got placed on the website, and it actually does a very good job of splitting out the improvements that are being made to North Beach in general versus the improvements that are supporting the Playa del Norte project. But the key thing is that Playa del Norte is going to generate sales tax, property tax, and parking revenue that actually pays back the city's investment, according to this report, pays back that city's investment in 3 years. And that's not including whatever the developer will pay for the land itself.
One of the concerns that you mentioned parking fees, but one of the concerns they have is that there's parking right there right now. It's fairly close to the beach. A lot of the parking that's being talked about in the development would actually be farther away from the beach than where it is now.
Well, there's an entire parking management plan for North Beach, and that was done at the actually at the insistence of the opponents to Playa del Norte. And that parking management plan projects parking needs for all possible developments in North Beach out to the year 2035. And the parking management plan does actually encourage beach parking. It actually moves some of the parking that's dedicated to the train station there, the Metrolink station, does move that across the street, but encourages the beach parking. And it's important for people to know that the parking lot that runs right along the beach on Avenida Estacion actually remains. It remains virtually untouched. So there is beach-closed parking. People should not fear losing their beach parking. There will be an abundance of parking.
One of the proposals that has been brought forward by opponents of the project would be to take the area now and turn it into a park. What's wrong with that?
Well, first of all, it's a nice idea, perhaps a nice alternative, but it's kind of a figment of someone's imagination to do that. Anyone could propose to build anything there. Specifically, a park costs money. It costs money not only to build, but it's on an ongoing basis. And there's no money budgeted for a park in North Beach. In the meantime, we're building a 5-acre park right across the street in El Camino Real that will be a blufftop park that has all the facilities and a beautiful ocean view. So, you know, I could, for instance, say that we're going to put a circus tent on that site, and it would have just as much basis of reality as someone saying we should put a park on that site. The way the city does its planning with its parks, the only way you could build a park there today is either raise taxes to pay for an unplanned park, or cancel some other park in the city that's, you know, in the plans, and say, well, we'll take away someone's soccer fields in order to build a park in North Beach.
One last thing. One of the things that people really identify with that area is the old Miramar Theater. The project that's proposed does not touch that.
That's correct. On the other hand, it does encourage investment throughout the North Beach area. And most of the business owners in that area are very, very anxious to see Playa del Norte built, because they realize that it upgrades the entire area, it generates foot traffic, it brings people in there who are looking for entertainment, grab a dinner at the restaurant, or perhaps a cup of coffee, or even if you're stopping by the bakery to get a loaf of fresh baked bread. It provides the opportunity for these other businesses to attract customers. With that, there is an incentive to upgrade all of the properties, and we hope the Miramar joins in that effort.
And in the last couple of seconds, your website that people can go to?
www.pronorthbeach.org, or you can find us on Facebook at Facebook/Playa del Norte.
Good. And if you missed that, you can go to our website, and that is www.cox3.com. Click on the Cox Forum link, and you will find connections to all of the folks that we have been talking to tonight on the Cox Forum.